Welcome to the Anime Architect. Today, we're jumping right into one of the absolute most intense moments from Tensura Volume 12, covering the fourth part of the prologue. We're going to be zeroing in on the master manipulator himself, Yuuki Kagurazaka, who finds himself in a really bad spot, cornered by the apex predator of the entire world, Demon Lord Guy Crimson. The physical fight might be over, but believe me, the war of wits is just getting started. Let's dive in.
So, picture this. After being completely and utterly demolished, Yuuki somehow gets to his feet, dusts himself off, and says this. I mean, the sheer audacity is just off the charts. He's not begging for his life. He's not pleading. He's confronting Guy with a theory. Now, for you or me, this would be a death sentence, right? But for Yuuki, this kind of incredible, insane recklessness, that's his greatest weapon.
And that brings us to our first section, a reckless negotiation. I mean, what else do you call it? Yuuki knows he has zero chance of winning with force, so he just changes the game. This isn't about survival anymore. This is about trying to turn a total, catastrophic loss into an unbelievable win using nothing but his words. And you can just feel the power gap here, can't you? On one side, you've got Yuuki, beaten to a pulp, running on nothing but fumes. And on the other, Guy hasn't even broken a sweat. He's just amused. It's really like a mouse trying to cut a deal with a cat. And Yuuki's only shot at living is to be the most fascinating, most unbelievably bold mouse that cat has ever seen.
So what's his play? He proposes a business deal. A business deal! Can you even imagine? He's standing there telling this force of nature that his little circus troupe could actually be useful to him. He's not asking for mercy, he's proposing a partnership. And just like that, he flips the whole script. He's no longer the victim. He's a player, making a move on the board.
Okay, so this is his grand plan. And you gotta hear this because it is something else. First, he's like, yeah, my goal is to conquer the world. Bold, right? That should make him Guy's #1 enemy. But then he does this crazy pivot. He says, because I'm gonna conquer the world, I'll have to fight the Eastern Empire anyway. And since I don't want to be your enemy, I'll just destroy the Empire first. You're welcome. The logic is so twisted, even his own friends are just standing there completely baffled.
And you really feel the tension through Laplace's eyes, you know? He's internally freaking out. He's thinking, this is insane. The plan makes no sense. Yuuki's gonna get us all killed. But then, he sees it. Guy isn't mad. He's not even annoyed. He's enjoying this. He's smiling. And that's when you realize, in a situation this hopeless, being interesting is way better than being right.
All right, next up, the Joker's Gambit. Because believe it or not, Yuuki was just getting warmed up. This is where he goes from just trying not to die to actually trying to win this thing by pushing his luck to the absolute limit.
And this right here is the heart of it all. He doesn't flinch. He doubles down. He looks Guy Crimson in the eye and basically says, yeah, you're stronger than me now, but one day, I'm coming for your spot. Think about it. Pleading for your life, that's boring. Guy's seen that a million times. But promising a real challenge down the road, now that gets his attention.
And this is where you see it's not just blind arrogance. Yuuki's brain is working overtime. He pieces things together. He figures, okay, Guy probably doesn't want the Empire making moves west. He even takes a wild guess that Guy has some kind of connection to the Emperor. And he uses all of this to sweeten the deal. He's not just going to fight the Empire, he's going to infiltrate it, take it over from the inside, and make it his own.
But let's be real, you're not gonna outsmart Guy Crimson. He sees right through all the smoke and mirrors and calls Yuuki out point blank. He's like, this isn't about helping me. You just want to use the Empire's army to take out your own enemies, like Leon and that new slime, Rimuru, right? This is it. The whole bluff could just fall apart right here.
So what does Yuuki do when he gets called out? Does he panic? Nope. He just owns it. He's like, yep, that's right. And then, just for good measure, he tacks on his ultimate goal one more time. This is the all-in moment. No more games, no more weird logic, just pure, unfiltered ambition. He's laid everything out there, and now it's all up to Guy. And then Guy says the line that changes the whole game. He finally gets it. He sees that Yuuki and his crew aren't a threat, not in the traditional sense. They're a wild card, a joker. They're this unpredictable piece you can throw onto the board just to mess everything up. And for a guy like, well, Guy, who gets bored super easily, that kind of chaos is priceless.
And boom,
The bet pays off. It's not that Guy believes Yuuki or thinks he's an ally. Not at all. He just decides that the show Yuuki is promising to put on is going to be way too entertaining to miss. And for that, he lets them walk.
All right, Section 3, Reflection of a Mastermind. Because the story is far from over. In fact, maybe the most important part is just starting. The fight with Guy is done, but the real battle is about to happen inside Yuuki's own head. So, they've escaped. And as you'd expect, his crew is going nuts. They're in shock, totally relieved they're still breathing after facing Guy Crimson. But Yuuki, he's just silent. He's completely exhausted, but it's not from the fight. He's just lying there, processing one simple fact. He was completely, utterly powerless.
Now this is what makes Yuuki so dangerous. Anyone else would be terrified, maybe even give up, but not him. He sees this absolute defeat and just thinks of it as the game getting a little more difficult, a little more interesting. His pride took a hit, for sure, but his ambition, it just got a whole lot stronger.
So he's lying there, breaking down the fight in his mind. He remembers this weird voice he heard, and he thinks about his own power, his unique skill, greed. I mean, that skill makes him a monster compared to most people. But against Guy, it was useless. He realizes Guy's on another plane of existence, using something called an ultimate skill. And right then and there, Yuuki decides he needs one. He wants that power more than anything.
And that brings us to our final section, The Greedy King Awakens. Because that beatdown from Guy, that was just the trigger. The real main event is happening right now, inside Yusuke, as all that ambition and desire for power starts to boil over.
So Yuuki dives deep into his own soul, looking for that voice he heard during the fight. And he finds it. It's the core of his own skill, this separate consciousness. And it asks him, "So, you ready for my help now?" But come on, this is Yuuki we're talking about. He doesn't ask for help, he takes what he wants. And in the most Yuuki move ever, he tells the source of his own power, "No thanks. I'm not borrowing your power, I'm taking it." That's his final declaration. He's not just rejecting the offer, he's basically declaring war on his own skill. His willpower becomes a weapon, and he uses it to just consume the entity inside him. He's literally eating his own power to forge it into something brand new. And then it happens. The voice of the world chimes in, and it's official. His insane gamble worked. By overpowering and consuming his own skill, he forces an evolution. Greed becomes the ultimate skill, greedy King Mammon. Just like that, he's on the same level as a true demon lord. He's officially one of the big players now. And when he opens his eyes, he's got this little smirk on his face. The whole ordeal is over. The guy who barely scraped by on pure bluff and intellect, he's gone. In his place is someone with the raw power to make his ambitions a reality. So we're left with a brand new, far more dangerous Yuuki on the playing field. He's got the brains, he's got the ambition, and now he has the power to match. So the big question is, who's first on his hit list? What do you think? Let me know your theories down in the comments. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, do me a huge favor and hit that like button and subscribe to The Anime Architect for a lot more Tensura deep dives. Thanks for hanging out with me.